Alright, so what's up, everybody? Today I'm going to be ranking all the Nightlords from Elden Nightreign. This includes the Everdark Nightlords and including the new DLC Nightlords. I do have a good bit of hours on this game, as you can see, and I'm about to show you here in a minute that I also have completed every single Nightlord, which has been several times, including the Everdark Nightlords several times. I've managed to reach depth 4 at the time of making this video. And I had only just started playing Deep of the Night around maybe a week or two ago. I quit playing when Deep of the Night first came out, just give myself a little break, and I'm back now. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy my ranking and tier list of this. If you do, please like and subscribe. There will be more content coming. Alrighty, so starting off, don't know why this S tier is not here. Let's get that fixed. Alright. Alright, so starting off, Everdark Gaping Jaw. Where am I going to put him? Put Everdark Gaping Jaw at A tier. I think Everdark Gaping Jaw was a phenomenal boss fight. It being the first Everdark boss fight that released. I remember like being surprised at how much it changes from the base version. From the spirit jump and just the overall aesthetic of the fight was very fun. Very fair fight, not too crazy difficult, not too easy. I had a lot of fun times playing against this boss. It's definitely a little difficult, but one of the issues I have with it, he does tend to run away a lot, and he does do an incredible amount of damage, but when you're playing Deep at Night, that doesn't really matter anyway, because you're not supposed to be getting hit. Overall, I think it's a good boss, and for now, it's going to be at the beginning of A tier. Next, we have Libra. This is the base version of the Libra. I'm going to put the base Libra at the beginning of B tier for now. This could be changeable. Libra, as far as when Nightreign first came out, Libra was definitely the boss I struggled with the most. Like, still learning Nightreign, new to Nightreign, he was very difficult to me. I don't know what it was. He was just a hard boss. Now, he's not so hard, but the aesthetic of Libra, the way you can trade with him, just the overall feeling of Libra, I enjoy the boss fight. I think it's a very good boss fight. Definitely for some of the base game boss fights, it was one I enjoyed more than others. I think B is a good medium ground for Libra. Overall solid boss fight. Next we got Sentient Pest. I'm throwing Sentient Pest directly into the D tier. Simply for the fact it's not really a fun fight to me. And again, this is my personal opinion. Everybody has different opinions on the fights. I just don't think Sentient Pest is a very fun fight. The little bug things fly around half the time. You can't really hit it unless you're a ranged character. And then melee characters just sitting there fighting the crab. That doesn't take a whole lot of damage, but it doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't feel rewarding. It doesn't feel fun to move their fun. It doesn't feel, yeah, it doesn't feel fun to learn their moveset. It's just not that good of a boss fight in my opinion. Again, majority of the Nightreign bosses are very good bosses. I think Nightreign has some of the best bosses in Soulsborne history. They really upped themselves with the bosses in this game, so I'm expecting high things from the next game. They're really good bosses, but I just don't think Sentient Pest is one of those bosses. It's not the worst boss, but it's also not the best boss. So we'll throw that out there. So next we got the base version of the Gaping Jaw. Trying to think where I want base Gaping Jaw at. I think good spot for base Gaping Jaw is C. I do like the Everdark better, obviously. I think the normal Gaping Jaw was one of those fights where if you got, when the game first came out, you weren't too mad because it's not really a hard boss fight. It's one of the easier boss fights, but it's not annoying to fight against. It's not flying around the arena constantly. It does jump around quite a lot, but the poison's really good against it. And it's overall a pretty decent, fun boss fight. I think C is a good median spot for it. Next up, we got Balancers. Okay, Balancers. Newer fight, I've beaten them personally around 7 or 8 times, so this might be controversial, and it also might change in the future, but for now, Balancers are base Balancers. I think base Balancer is going to be either A tier or the very beginning of B tier. I'm going to put base Balancers at the very beginning of B tier for now. This might change towards the end of the video. I very much enjoy the base Balancers. I'm a Wilder main, so I love going to this fight and just parrying everything. and basically being able to win off of a parry. It's fun. It's a gank fight done right. A lot of gank fights in Soulsborne history are not very praised, but this fight, yeah, you might be getting jumped by 2 or 3 of them. Their movesets are very predictable. They aren't swinging crazy fast unless it's the big lady. And some of the small ones, they have a decent moveset, but it's easy to learn, and it's not overwhelming. Kind of like the Everdark Libra fight, for an example. I think it's a gank fight done right, and for that, I'm going to give it a beginning of B tier for now. Next, we got Hjolster. Well, I think I know where this one's going without a shadow of doubt. It's going in S tier. Hjolster was a very good ending boss fight for Nightreign base game. The way he cuts up in the sky and does each of the boss's arenas really cool. I was like, that's probably the coolest attack in all Soulsborne history as far as bosses are concerned. I love bosses with swords that actually melee and fight you on the ground. You know, you can dodge and weave their moveset. It feels very rewarding to learn. And being able to parry some of his moves, and just overall the boss fight, his design, his lore, the boss arena, all very good. Definitely one of the best FromSoft bosses of all time. And then we go from we go from Hjolster to Augur. And I already know where I'm putting Augur. He's going behind Sentient Pest in D tier. And again, there's no F tier, because I think every boss is good in their own way. However, Augur is definitely at the bottom of the list for now. I do not like this fight. Not one bit. He just runs around the arena. Even if you are range, it just takes forever unless you got lightning. And then you should have lightning, obviously, but you know, if you're in deep of the night and you don't know what boss you got, and for whatever reason you don't have lightning with you, this boss takes forever. And it's just not a fun fight. He literally just runs around the arena, drops jellyfishes, and you can kill them or the hands or whatever. And on deep of the night, the freaking hands are one-shot you, and they'll just spawn behind you, and it's quite annoying. I don't know, I just don't enjoy the boss fight, so he's definitely at the back of D tier for right now. That puts us with Everdark Caligo. Okay, I'm going to put Everdark Caligo in the back of B tier. I do enjoy Libra and Balancers more than Everdark Caligo. However, Everdark Caligo has one of the best OSTs in the game. Very good OST, good boss arena, cool aesthetic boss. One thing I hate about the Caligo in general, it's not just the Everdark that applies to, is the Mountaintop of the Giants, like reward, where it basically gives you more immunity to the freeze prop, or the frost, whatever you might want to call it. Simply because of the fact if you don't have that, it makes the boss fight tremendously harder versus if you do. And I hate having to be reliant on a shifting earth just to make this boss fight a little bit easier, because frost builds up incredibly quick in this fight, and it's all he does is spam it. But again, he's a good fight. That's why I got him at the back of B tier. I like him more than these others. I'm not a biggest fan of dragon fights in Soulsborne. Personally, I just don't like how they just fly around the arena. I'm not a fan of flying bosses, period. But I think he's a good boss, so I'm going to put him at the back of B tier for now. Moving on to Everdark Augur. So the Storm Ruler thing was cool at first. You know, oh, we got the Storm Ruler gimmick boss back from like every Souls game. Yeah, but he's going at the end of D. He's worse than the base Augur, simply for the fact it's 2 phases of a boss I already don't like. And the Storm Ruler literally cancels out your whole build. So you build your whole Nightreign run getting a build to not even get to use it in the second phase. It just kind of feels pointless. And it just makes the boss take longer than it should. So for speedrunning or anything like that, it's just not a good boss. So as of now, he's the worst boss in my list. Everdark Balancers. I might get some questions on this one. It just released. I beat them 3 or 4 times at this time of this video. I mean, it's only been like a day or 2 since they were released. I haven't been able to play a crazy amount. However, from what I have played and what I've experienced, I'm putting them at S tier. I'm going to put them a little bit below Hjolster, but I still very much like this fight. It's still S tier boss, clearly. I was not expecting, I was excited for the Balancers. Nightlords, wasn't expecting to come so soon, or Everdark, but I was not expecting the bleed arena. That was cool, like the way they die and then everything becomes blood and they turn to a tree spirit, and the whole vibe of that boss fight completely shifts, and it's still a fun fight despite being a gimmick fight. Like, it's still such a good fight. So right now it's definitely going to be an S tier. Everdark, no, this is base Tricephalus, okay. Where do I put you? I'm trying to think on this one. I'm gonna put base Tricephalos at the beginning of C tier. I think base Tricephalos was a great introduction to Nightreign. Not a hard boss. One of the easiest, actually probably the easiest boss in the game. But it's crazy. People struggled with it in the beta, but look at where we're at now. Just shows the learning curve of Nightreign. Because every time I get this boss even deeper than night, I'm like, heck yeah, it's free win right here. But I like the fight. I think it's a cool fight, aesthetic wise, design wise, like fighting a freaking three-headed wolf. I can't remember the name for it, but it's a cool fight. No really complaints about it, truthfully. The moveset's not super unfair. Despite it again being kind of a gank fight, doesn't feel overwhelming. Pretty good fight. Definitely for the start off of Nightreign, I think it was a good start off point to introduce you to the other bosses. Let's see. Everdark Tricephalos. Everdark Tricephalos definitely upped the game with compared to the first one. And now I'm just debating now. I'm going to put it in A tier. I just don't know if I want it above the Everdark Gaping Jaw or below Everdark Gaping Jaw. I think I'll put it above. Simply for the fact I was surprised at how good the Everdark was. Like, they really switched it up from where he switches his moveset. It's a hard boss. The Everdark Tricephalos like takes the easiest boss and turns it into one of the harder bosses of the game. So I was happy to see that because I enjoyed the boss fight. So I think that's a good spot for him. I think the Everdark Tricephalos is a really good fight. Alright, next up is Base Caligo. I'm going to put Base Caligo at the back of C tier. I enjoy Gaping Jaw more, Tricephalos more. Again, it's a dragon fight, and I've already explained my issues with the Everdark. Kind of the same applies there. It's not a bad fight, but just not one of my favorites. Enhanced Sentient Pest. Putting it below the Augur, kind of for the same reasons I don't like the Augur Enhanced Everdark. Simply for the fact I don't really care for the Sentient Pest, so getting that second phase just felt needless, and it didn't really feel like it added nothing to the fight. It still was the same annoying fight, truthfully. Like, it would still run from you, and you just had to keep killing it. Like, I don't know. It just made a fight that I already didn't like longer, and that's kind of why I'm putting the Everdark behind. So, I mean, I think it's a good spot for it. Next up, we got Dreglord. Okay, Dreglord again, one of the newer bosses. I've probably beat him 8 or 9 times now, quite a lot. However, he is going to be at the beginning of S tier. As of right now, he is my favorite boss in the game. He is designed so well. Like, he has a lot of HP. Probably the most HP out of all the bosses, truthfully. But yet, when you learn his moveset, which is very easy to learn, really. He has a good moveset, and it's very rewarding to learn. But once you learn it, like, your first 3 runs are going to be hard. It's going to be hard against him depending on how good you are. It might even take longer or less long. But once you learn his moveset, he becomes literally the most fluent boss. And it's just like you're in the flow zone and you're just fighting him. And his moveset and his arena, his lore, he's just really that boss, truthfully. Again, it could change in time, but I think it's going to stay in S tier. Base Dark Drift Knight. Where do I put you? So I enjoy Dark Drift Knight base version more than I do the Everdark Caligo, but less than I do the Libra. So I'm going to put him right there in the middle of B. His moveset's very fair, rewarding, and fun to learn again. He's a melee character, doesn't spend a whole lot of time running from the player. I mean, obviously, he kind of runs, but he's very aggressive. Pretty good base game boss. One of my favorite. So, despite, other than Heolster in the base game, him and Libra, Dark Drift and Libra are my favorite bosses to fight before the Everdarks came out. So I think he's good at a B tier. Next we got Everdark, Dark Drift, and I am putting him above Gaping Jaw right here in A tier. I feel like, actually, I'm putting him above Tricephalos. He is going to be at the beginning of A tier, simply for the fact this boss was really fun. This was my favorite boss until the DLC dropped, other than Heolster. I actually fought him more because sometimes I did enjoy his fight more. I just think Heolster is a better boss. It's very fun to learn his moveset. Very cool just watching. It's a very cinematic fight. And it's not unfair. It's a hard boss, don't get me wrong. Like, it's a pretty difficult boss. But, again, it's one of them bosses once you learn, have down, you can beat almost every time. It's just a really good boss. That's in all of Soulsborne games. It's definitely... So, from these top 3 right here, including the Everdark Dark Drift, I'm going to say them in top 10 Soulsborne bosses of all time. or top 15, because there's a lot of bosses out there. You know, we got people like Mesmer and things of that nature. Artorias is in my top 10. So again, these are really good bosses, and I think hopefully the next FromSoft game really follows what Nightreign has been doing for us, and that leaves us with Everdark Libra. I will put him at the beginning of D tier. I think it's like such a disappointment that it's so much worse than his base version. And the only reason it's worse is it's literally a gimmick fight, not done right. Like, they literally just throw NPCs in just for the fact to make it more hard, more difficult. Not fun to fight. You have an Iron Eye, freaking +5 attack power, shooting you from across the map. You'll get jumped by a raider while trying to damage Libra. It's just not a fun fight. Like, I was really had high hopes for the Everdark Libra, and I just do not like it. So again, this is my list. I hope you guys did enjoy watching this. Let me know what y'all's list is down in the comment section below, and please like and subscribe. I will be making more tier lists in the future with games such as Dark Souls 3 bosses, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 1, Bloodborne, etc. So